Hi, everybody. This is Karen Leslie, your WordPress fairy godmother with Wand. And I'm just going to show you how to add a backup plugin to your WordPress website. You haven't got one already. So I'm just going to share screen. So now you're looking at the back end of a demo website. So I'm not giving away any clients' secrets or anything. Everything's safe with me. And this is what the back end of a typical WordPress website will look like. You have your dashboard. There'll be different things on it, depending on what plugins you've got loaded. So to load a backup plugin, you want to go to installed plugins because you want to have a look around to check whether you have got a backup plugin already installed. You can do a search of this page using your browser and search on the word backup. And if you have a backup plugin, it will normally say backup in the description or in there. If you don't have one, this is a good plugin to use. So it's called Updraft Plus, which I know is an unusual name. I don't know where it comes from, but that's what the backup is called. Why I like this particular plugin, and you can see it here, is because it's free and it allows you to back up to the cloud, so away from your hosting. So click on the Install Now button. And no surprises, it installs the plugin. So you may have to wait a little while depending on your hosting. It's come up there, it briefly said installed, and now it says activate, which you click on. Now, what will happen is, one, you will see it here on the left-hand side of the column, and I realize you can't see what I'm pointing at, but you will see it there. You'll also see it in your list. So when you come down here, you'll see Updraft Plus, Backup and Restore, and you can click on Settings. Now, the settings are normally set for manual, and there's normally only 2 that's kept. I would update that to about 6 or 8. And if you don't have an e-commerce website and you don't often update your website, you can set it to weekly. Now, this really does depend on how often you update your website. If you've got an e-commerce shop, you may want to do it even every few hours. If it's a really popular one and you're taking lots of orders, or maybe daily, it really does depend. I'm not going to show you how to set up the remote storage in this video. This video is purely about adding it and making sure it is doing some updates. Now, this update will go to your hosting. Sorry, this backup will go to your hosting. So if you've got an enormous website, it's not a good idea to keep backing up to your hosting because you're going to take up all your storage. It's also not a good idea to back up to your hosting all the time because if anything went wrong with your hosting or you had a falling out with your hosting company, you would lose your backup. And you may think it doesn't happen, but it happens more often than I would like it to. When you've made any changes to the settings, always click on Save Changes. Now, to run the backup, see this big Backup Now blue button? That's what you do. You click up now. It will ask you to whether you want to include the database and include your files. Say yes to both of those. I don't have any remote storage set up here, but if I did, it would allow me to choose whether to back up to the remote storage or not. But only allow this backup to be deleted manually means that I set the retention to 8. So one that has that has to be manually deleted does not appear in that retention sequence. So if I took a backup and it comes to number 8 and it says, oh, look, this one has to be deleted manually, we're not going to delete it, we'll delete another one. Because that retention of 8 means there will only ever be 8 at one time. So you can click back up now. And again, this will depend, the length of time it takes will really depend on how big your website is. But this is a really good, quick, easy way to do a backup before you do anything on your website. And I do mean anything. Now, this is already finished. The reason I say that is I go in, I'm testing something on my website, and it's something I'm not used to, for example, and I stuff something up, and my website goes down, or it's not displaying what I want it to display. It can even be that I've added a blog post and I didn't like something. I've just messed something up that I can't easily fix. You know, if I put the wrong image on a blog post, I can remove that image. It's not a big deal. However, if I did something more serious, all I need to do is come back to a backup and click on restore, and it will restore whatever I tell it to. So it will restore either the database, the plugins, the themes, uploads, must-use plugins, or others, or all of them. So this takes away that, let's say, trepidation, that fear that, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do. Don't know what I'm doing, and I'm going to stuff it up. This gets away from that because, you know what? We all stuff up sometimes. And if we do, we can get out of it really quickly. We don't have to involve the hosting company. We can just do a restore. Because you don't know how frequently the hosting company is taking a backup, and you want one that is really just before you've done whatever it was that went wrong or not as intended. This is Karen Leslie, your WordPress fairy godmother. If you want any help with this, if you have any questions, leave a comment or DM me so that you know how to install a backup plugin for your WordPress website. Until next time, keep shining.